All right, guys, let's do let's do more Ethan Klein. I hate that we have to, and I'm gonna be absolutely honest here. Obviously, you guys know I don't like Hasan, and I kind of like Ethan, but Ethan needs to stop. He needs to stop hammering this point over and over and over again. I understand why he made his his initial point of like, hey, listen. Basically, I don't like Hasan. I don't think that he's very good, and I think that there is some anti-Semitic dog whistling in his community. That's fine. I agree with that point. I get it. I understand Ethan's point when it comes to Israel-Palestine. His point is that Israel has the right to exist. They have the right to defend themselves, but they do not have the right to engage in effectively a genocide an entire group of people with such a massively disproportionate response. Right? Very simple to the point. It gets very muddied in the way that he's engaging in this conversation, and I don't think he's having it productively. But this continued, and optically what it looks like is this obsession with Hasan, I think it needs to stop. Make your point and move on. Disconnect Hasan's name from your mouth. Move on. Build up your credibility. Build up your character. Because I feel like right now there's three camps of people. There's people who fully agree with you and I think that what you're doing is great. There are people who agree with you but think that you're going too much in on this point, which is me. And then there's people that are going to disagree with you, and that's going to be a lot of Hasan's community. You're starting to look crazy. Okay? I think it's time to move on. Talk about your topics. Stop bringing up Hasan. Because I saw people were telling me there's like a whole last half of their segment, or like a third of it or a quarter of it is about Hasan. And it's like, we're going to watch this video called Hasan Piker is a Weasley little liar. But it's like, you have to stop. Especially since like you started this. Everybody knew Hasan was not great from the start. And I guess Ethan was on his overcorrection arc, where, he regretted some of the things and some of the ways that he expressed himself back in the day. So he decided to do a complete flip instead of being a little bit more, moderately minded, which we've all been there before. I get it. But, we knew Hasan sucked from the start. I guess in that time you thought anybody left of center was good and anybody right of left was bad. But now it's time to take your deep breath. Maybe even miss a podcast episode and move on. Talk about politics. Talk about this. Talk about it productively. Okay? There's no point in continuing the way that you're talking. You're not going to convince anybody now. If you're going to convince anybody to have a change in mind, it's going to be months from now, weeks from now, maybe even years from now, after you've collected yourself and you've taken a deep breath and you've been moving positively and consistently in a way where people like appreciate you and respect you. And then maybe another opportunity will present itself for you to say like, hey, this, but right now I just don't think Ethan's in the place, yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. That's how I feel. But I'm going to listen to Ethan talk first, and then I'm going to watch some of the podcast episode after. Thank you for the $5 from It's Your Boy Raven. Hey, Papa, thank you for being the voice in my head every day at work for the past month. Long-time listener, first-time watcher. I appreciate that, brother. And I appreciate that I am the schizophrenic voice in your head. So let's get this going.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm here to address something that happened on Thursday's show. We were doing our post-election COPE stream.
Okay.
And the subject of Israel had came up. And here is what was said about it. Let's take a look.
Okay, let's
Trump
see.
is so pro-Israel, it's insane.
Not only is he pro-Israel,
him and
he hates
Bibi,
Arabs.
him and Bibi
sure.
like talk a lot, and Bibi's become a lot like Trump.
Yeah,
so.
Bibi's his guy. They're like homies.
Yeah, I mean, I think Bernie Sanders, was the best person to bring it up. I remember seeing him talk about it because I know that there were some voices that were saying, hey, maybe don't vote Kamala because she's pro-Israel. Because she is, right? Israel is, we are in alliance with Israel, and it makes sense to be pro-Israel, but it doesn't make sense to justify everything that they do. And I know that Harris doesn't justify everything that they do. But Trump has said that like he is fully in support of Israel, which is not good because, again, you don't have the right to have a disproportionate response. So, yeah, I agree with this. Thank you for $5 from Galactic Greaser. Papa, have you played Cyberpunk 2077? Don't abbreviate it, by the way. No, I have. Oh, I have. I played a little bit. It was okay.
Celebrating last night.
Just the other day, Bibi fired a really good guy that a lot of people are pissed about, and he fired him because they had a disagreement, and that's like so Trump coded.
Well, he was like a moderating voice in the war room.
Yeah.
and he got rid of him, or at least a more moderate voice. I don't know anything about the guy. Here we're talking about Yoav Gallant, who
I don't know too much about him. Thank you so much for the 11-month small gut from Lamer the Gamer. Went on a date with an Asian woman. What? What is that? I don't even know what you're saying. Something is liberal. All right. Well, incredible.
was a member
Oh, am I now a liberal? Okay.
of Netanyahu's war cabinet, who just yesterday was fired by Netanyahu because he wanted to end the war. And Netanyahu wants to continue the war, and therefore he fired him. Once he was fired, people in Israel took to the streets and are protesting because, as far right as Netanyahu's, war cabinet is, he is literally a moderating voice in that cabinet and was the only one representing the people and pushing for the war to end.
All right. Sounds like a decent guy. They fired him because he was being investigated.
The problem with Yoav, which I don't even think Ela probably knew at the time because this war's been going on for so long, is that he's somewhat infamous for this quote here. He said on October 8th, there will be no electricity, no food, no fuel. We are fighting human animals and we act accordingly.
Well, that doesn't sound like a good thing. That doesn't sound very good.
He's talking about entering Gaza in the first phases of the war. Now, a lot of people look at this.
I mean, that's kind of indefensible. I mean, the only thing that you could say, that's a pretty tough one. The only thing that you could say is that he's Israeli and he was emotionally impacted and he said the wrong thing. That's probably the best thing that you can say.
Language and think that it's dehumanizing and genocidal. And
it is.
I'm one of those people. I agree that this is a horrible thing to say, and I don't defend him, and I never would defend him. A statement like this, which I assume people who watch this show know and understand. Now, a year plus later, for whatever reason, this is the same guy who's advocating for the war to end in Israel. And Ela, looking over the news, sees that people are rioting, that people are upset, and that people who want the war to end are upset that he got fired. And that's basically all that happened. We're talking about the fact that he's the only person that wants to end the war. And I personally don't understand how that's not relevant. Here from The Guardian, a left-leaning newspaper you guys all probably know. Here's a headline: Benjamin Netanyahu fires Defense Minister Yoav Gallant, triggering protests in Israel. Demonstration in Tel Aviv, widely seen by Israel's allies as a break on far-right elements of the Israeli government. Again, this is...
I'm going to read that a little bit. Benjamin has fired his defense minister, a figure widely considered by Israel's international allies to be a break on the far-right elements of the country's coalition government, prompting protests around Israel. Netanyahu said in a video statement, significant gaps on handling the battle in Gaza has emerged. At the height of the war, complete trust is needed between the prime minister and the defense minister. In recent months, that trust between me and the defense minister was damaged. Okay. So yeah, it sounds like maybe he was more left, well, he was not as right-leaning, we'll say.
Widely seen by Israel's allies as a break on far-right elements of the Israeli government. Again, this isn't just my opinion. This is opinion that's held by internationally, that he is a moderating voice on the war cabinet, once again, advocating for the war to end, which is what I thought we all wanted. Here's another article from The Guardian. Yoav Gallant reportedly says Israeli army has nothing left to do in Gaza. The ousted defense minister also quoted as saying Netanyahu rejected peace deals against advice of his security officials. As you can see, I'm not saying any of this to defend him. What he said and what he's done should very well be investigated by the International Criminal Court, and if he's found, he should submit to an investigation. If he's found guilty, then charge him. But what I am saying is that I think that while Ela misspoke and said he's a good guy, her intention was that, this guy is trying to end the war.
I'm curious as to why, because this first part's solid so far. Why wasn't this just part of his live stream? Why does he do this Ethan Klein channel thing? And I know that some of you guys, I have to be clear as why I'm saying this like this. Is I feel like, and it might be hard for me to communicate, but I feel like as a creator, it's really good to set really positive boundaries. And one of the best boundaries, in my opinion, is I try to do everything on stream. So I no longer do off the cuff sidebars of how I feel or about stuff or yada yada yada. If I feel the need to, I'll maybe go on a stream, but I do it intentionally, especially since sometimes I can be impulsive, which is not necessarily a good thing, and you might say the wrong thing, and this could happen. So I like to save a lot of stuff for my stream to give me time to think and relax and to establish to you guys that I am my stream. And so I'm only really going to have a conversation to you or with you through my stream, and there is something very productive about that. I just feel like it would make more sense to me to do this on his next live stream. And again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to resonate with you guys on this one. It just makes more sense to me to just establish that, especially since there's a bigger viewership on his actual stream. So starting it off with like, hey guys, blah blah blah, I feel like would have been better. So, but yeah, you know, maybe I'm wrong. I'm just saying.
Pretty sure we're all on the same page as that being a good
even releasing this video on the main channel might have been a better idea if he felt like it needed to happen.
day.
I feel like the reason I brought it up was mainly to express the frustration with Bibi and him firing the one guy that was somewhat, you know, attempting at moderation. It wasn't really so much to say Gallant is a good guy. I shouldn't have used that word. That was a bad choice on my part, considering stuff that he has said that I was not even thinking of. Really coming from the concerning feeling of like, we have Trump in office and Bibi just fired the guy that is opposing him. That's all I was trying to say, but I do understand that was not a good choice of words and I would not have said that again. So I'm stepping away for a little while from being on camera and being on the podcast. It's too much and it's not fair for everybody.
I don't think it's that. I mean, I hate to say this is, like it's obviously wrong. You know, they spoke in like a misinformed way, but I don't think that she needs to take a break from it. I don't know. I to me, this almost feels like letting them win, if that makes any sense. You know, you misspoke and you apologize for it. It's not good. And you kind of just move on from it. I feel like, you know, taking a step back from the show, I don't think it's that deep. I don't mean to sound insensitive, but I don't think it needs to be that deep. I don't think that that response needs to be kind of given. Like, just make the response of like, yeah, sorry, I fucked up. You know, my bad, and just kind of rolling forward. You know, I don't know. I think that kind of perspective can be more positive instead of making people realize that, like, oh, you know, if you do make a mistake and they start harassing you over it, they kind of win.
Yeah.
So that's where our head.
She might be doing it for her own sake. That's true. I just wouldn't have announced it at that point.
That when we said that, but now people like Hasan are going on their channels and accusing us of supporting a war criminal. Anyway, here's what Hasan said this evening about the clip that sent everybody into a frenzy.
Crazy. I just hate how Ethan is brigading smaller content creators like the deprogram because he couldn't get to you. It's fucking gross how he keeps picking smaller content creators that are just getting by, and he is sitting on his golden throne, just straight up harassment. I know, he's just...
I can't get over the fact that they keep fucking crying about me responding to these communities. Like, this is the biggest socialist podcast. They have like, they have hundreds of thousands of subscribers. Second Dot has 2 million subscribers. When can I respond to these people? When is it warranted? Like, give me a fucking break.
He's just...
She has been being called a baby killer for years, so I understand the break. Yeah, I get that too. I do understand the break. I think it was more of like, maybe don't announce the break. Hey guys, I fucked up, and just move on. And maybe she does take a break without announcing it. Again, my whole thing, I guess I'm focusing on this in more of like an optics perspective, is you're communicating to some of these people that whatever you say, you know, if you make a mistake and they rail you for it, that you're you know, open to being shifted in your perspective, and it just makes you, I don't know, it makes it, to me, it just makes people feel like they're sensing a weakness and they can bully you into doing whatever they want.
Like aligning with all these fucking drama peddlers like Keemstar and shit in an effort to try and get me fucking banned is psychotic to me, you know? I just don't get it. I don't understand it.
What a fucking liar, dude. What a Weasley little fucking liar.
I don't know, man. I got like, I don't think that's what Ethan is doing. But it does. I don't know. And maybe this is me. Maybe it just feels like you've been dragging this so far. I feel like it should have been like one kind of video calling everything out about Hasan and then kind of moving on. And at this point, you know, I hate to say it. I know some people are going to be pissed at me, but I can kind of see why Hasan is able to play victim here a little bit. That's just kind of how and then that's just how I'm interpreting it. You know, if you want to disagree, that's fine. That's just how I'm seeing it. You know, that's how I'm seeing it, man. So
he's just straight up lying. He's just lying right now. In fact, this is a lie that he keeps saying, is that I'm somehow aligning myself with Keemstar. Once again, I'll show you. I went and fished out the original stories. I was talking about Frogan getting shit from a ton of conservatives for her wonderful remarks about hoping American military men get PTSD. I was showing it to say it's not my fault that she's getting harassed when this clip of her is going mega viral on Twitter and being called out by the worst people on the internet, right? Look at, these are all conservative shitbags. These are all people that I disagree with and have openly said terrible things about, including Keemstar. So like the way that he singles him out and says, oh, Ethan is co-signing Keemstar, he's a fucking liar, dude. Okay. He's a weaselly little liar.
The person that they're talking about is Yoav Gallant.
I just wouldn't have even acknowledged Hasan's existence. I think that, like, if it's funny because last year Hasan refused to acknowledge Destiny, and I feel like that was like Hasan's best year. You know, because Destiny can be a silly little goose sometimes, right? Ethan just should ignore Hasan. I don't know. That's just me. I just feel like maybe he should just stop giving a fuck. Like, talk about this. Like, hey guys, we misspoke. We fucked up. And then just don't even give attention to this shit. I feel like.
Yoav Gallant, alongside Benjamin Netanyahu, has an active petition for his arrest by the ICC. The person that they are talking about here, before getting fired by Benjamin Netanyahu, the person that they're calling a moderating voice, said this, which is the reason why there is an active petition, an active application for a warrant for his arrest by the ICC.
What is it that I'm looking at?
Nothing I do is performative.
This is what a Weasley little liar source. What is this?
So I'm not going to, for instance, I'll use Hasan as an example. I'm not going to talk to a black person like Trihex and say, hey, the N-word, it's always black. What do you think black people...
What a fucking liar, dude.
Oh. What is happening here? Is Ethan memeing almost?
What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude. What a fucking Weasley little liar, dude.
Is Ethan legitimately dog whistling Destiny? Oh my god. Oh my god. I feel like this is probably not very smart for dude. I hate to say this. I want to pretext this by saying I like Destiny. I think Destiny's extraordinarily intelligent. He's a great debater. I like the way that he typically debates. He'll get down in the mud if he has to, but then he'll also have like a level of decorum when he also when it calls for it. So I could appreciate Destiny. You know, I know that he has a black stripper's name, but I enjoy Destiny. Okay. I just feel like it's not going to look good for Ethan or his community. To align too much with Destiny. And maybe this is just me personally. Sometimes I get frustrated by some of the immaturity I see out of the community. Like, that's why I'm not like super aligned. I still think Destiny is great. I don't like, maybe this is a sensitive for me. I don't like the Arsenal like to that degree where like I tuned into their like political show and they're railing it off a lot. And I'm just like, I can't get on board with this. It's just too much for it. I mean, I'm not even like memeing. Like it's too immature for me. I'm not going to sit here and say I've never used a word in my private life because sometimes I get angry and I use words I shouldn't. And I understand that. But publicly, I try to be more mature than that. Like, because I know that it's wrong. And like, I feel like right now Destiny's hot. Because he's the most powerful, best voice, maybe not powerful, but the best voice online, at least, against some of the insane right-wing shit. But 6 months from now, something's going to happen. Destiny's going to say some dumbass shit, and you're going to be like, oh, I shouldn't have aligned myself with that kind of thing a little bit. And then, you know, it's ebbs and flows of Destiny being, you know, the best debater ever, and then sometimes a little immature, you know. I don't know. I just feel like be a little careful. Be a little careful there. Yeah, when it's too immature for me, that's when you know that's something. I'm not saying I'm mature. I'm just saying I really don't like that word. I mean, that's just me personally. Thank you so much for the 6 month small gut from a big Dom rep. Who's winning a fist fight, Destiny or Hasan? I would say Hasan probably because he's bigger, but honestly, I don't know. Hasan is kind of a pussy. Thank you for the $5 from a Grutton HGH. I think if Hasan won't engage at the same level, Ethan is wasting his time. Yeah, sure. That's what I agree with that too. And thank you for the $5 from Ryan Platts. There's a video by Ethan's Basement fan channel talking about how he's not supporting him anymore, and it's pretty good. Yeah, maybe we'll take a look at that.
Holy shit, dude.
Excuse me.
Holy fucking shit, dude.
I apologize for that.
Literally lying.
Hasan lies and uses Destiny to dismiss every legitimate criticism. Yeah, that is true, but sometimes Ethan Ethan enjoys Destiny. I think that we know that. And it's hard not to, right? Especially in like the online space. So
still lying to his audience. Can someone at least fucking enlighten Destiny that he's literally lying to his audience? What a fucking piece of shit, dude. Holy.
He's probably right here. That's probably why Hasan got so angry.
I don't know. I'm legitimately shocked.
The problem why I'm frustrated with this whole situation, you guys know me. I'm more than willing, more than happy to address shortcomings and errors that I've made and take every chance I can.
Thank you for $5 from PP. This isn't Fat Earth and Dwarf WoW gameplay. Shook my head. What am I dirking it to her? Listen, we're not playing WoW right now.
And to learn and grow from them, right? But the problem I have is that there's our subreddit and our community is overridden with these 8-year longtime ultra fans who can no longer, tolerate us, or they can no longer walk down this path with us as we've thrown our lot in with the Nazis, right? But like these same people, okay, they hold no standards. And Hasan can go out there and glaze an international terrorist organization and its leader and glaze up Hasan Nasrallah like he's a fucking great dude.
Hasan Nasrallah was assassinated. Hezbollah is
yeah, but that's because he's anti-Western. Did we not establish this already? He's anti-West. That's what his community likes, anti-Western perspective. And I feel like Ethan is probably, or maybe he was, in like the unique perspective to have like some of their audience, and maybe you could try to de-escalate them if you can. But at this point, I mean, it seems like maybe it's just worth more. It's more worth just kind of staying away from that community in general.
It's a paramilitary organization that is also a part of the Lebanese parliament.
Do we like them or no?
I think as a resistance group, they're pretty successful against Israel. They are a terrorist organization. Like they're designated. They are designated by the American state as a terrorist organization.
I do not like them then.
Well, like
I like what you like.
Okay, it's a lot of different emotions going on here.
I don't have an issue with them. Let's just say
I'm going to give you guys a crash course on Hezbollah.
Well, well, yeah. Of course, Hasan's perspective is going to be that there is probably some realistically, quote unquote, justifying reason for the existence, or not even justifying, but there is a reason for the existence of these terrorist organizations. It's most likely because of American influence in some capacity. And because of that, I like the organization. I think that we can have a more intelligent conversation of like terrorist organizations are bad on a, micro level. And then on a macro level, we can understand that one of the reasons terrorist organizations exist sometimes is because of influence of other countries like America, right? So, yeah, again, I feel like when I hear something like that, I don't care. Like I try not to care too much about what Hasan thinks or feels because he's not very intelligent emotionally or otherwise. I don't know. I feel like that. I know that he has a lot of influence, but I just feel like it doesn't. I don't know. Whatever. It just doesn't. I mean, I guess it just doesn't matter to me. I don't know. I just wouldn't be given so much. Oh fuck.
Let's start back from the beginning. 1983 suicide truck bombing of the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. 45 embassy staff were killed, 34 injured. They bombed a French Marine barracks in Beirut. 300 dead. Attempted murder of the head of the Turkish Jewish community. Suicide bombing of the Argentine Jewish Mutual Association building in Buenos Aires. 85 killed, 300 injured.
I don't have an issue with them, let's just say.
Bombing of a restaurant near the U.S. Air Force Base in Spain. 18 killed, 83 injured. Car bombs of the U.S. Embassy in Beirut. 11 killed, 58 injured. Hijacking of Kuwait airline planes. Killed 4. Suicide bombing at the Israeli Embassy in Buenos Aires.
I mean, Ethan, do you think that him or his audience are going to care? They've been literally, They've been literally sitting here giving you justifiers for, like saying that like people weren't raped on October 7th. Like Hasan and his community don't care about this.
Buenos Aires, 29 killed, 240 injured.
I don't have an issue with them, let's just say.
Suspected of carrying out suicide bombing missions against Israeli vacationers in Bulgaria. Indicted for the assassination of former Lebanese Prime Minister Rafik al-Hariri.
I don't have an issue with them.
Hezbollah participated in the Syrian civil war on the side of Assad, violent dictator. They're responsible for the genocide of well over 500,000 Syrians. Here's an article from Amnesty International. Syria, surrender or starve, strategy displacing thousands, amounts to crimes against humanity. Does that sound familiar?
I don't have an issue with them.
While the Syrian government's stated aim has been to vanquish opposition fighters, its cynical use of surrender or starve tactics has involved a devastating combination of sieges and bombardments.
I don't have an issue with them.
These have been part of a systematic...
I bet he's influenced millions of kids, Papa. I mean, maybe. He might have. I feel like... what do you think is the realistic de-escalation from that, though? I guess is my question. Like, how do you think you get people to not agree with Hasan? I don't think that this is it. I don't think anybody's looking at this and going, "Holy shit, You know what? You're right. I don't think that's what, I don't know. I think no matter how you cut it, right now what we have is we're experiencing Hasan is bad because he's shit. He praises anything anti-West. That's literally all he is. He's ever has been and ever will be. I just don't see this
widespread attack on.
I don't see this de-escalating anybody who has. I don't see this de-escalating anybody that's like a Hasan fan. Is what I'm saying here. I don't see it really doing. I don't see the productive use of this other than to publicly say I don't like Hasan and then give Hasan excuses to be like, see, he just likes Destiny, blah 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 blah, and Destiny hates me, and Destiny does hate him, and he has justifiable reasons to do so. But you know, we're all really just contributing to the Hasan versus Destiny. We're all just pawns in their game. Thank you for the $10 from Violet K. Hasan uses Destiny and memes to avoid accountability. Destiny says hateful and polarizing stuff on Twitter, then cries that everybody is just dumb or taking him out of context. The boys are silly. Yeah, yes, actually, I couldn't have said it better myself. True, very true. You know, the positive thing for Destiny is that he's actually smart, so that's good for him. But yeah, thank you for $2 from Gelato GG. I just don't get why Ethan X is surprised anymore. Yeah, I don't either. I mean, I feel like Hasan was pretty obviously not great from the start. Remember when he called me fat, guys? Remember when Hasan called me fat? That was mean. That's so mean, dude.
On civilians that amounts to crimes against humanity. Sounds like what Israel's doing in Gaza.
I don't have an issue with them.
Relentless attacks on civilians, in addition to immense suffering caused by siege tactics, deliberate attacks on civilians and civilian objects cause unimaginable misery. The government and Hezbollah forces burned agricultural fields just as a form of punishment, even though we couldn't access them.
I don't have an issue with them.
Once again, sounds like what Israel's doing in Gaza. As of May 21, a minimum of 580,000 people is estimated to have been killed, with 13 million Syrians being displaced and 7 million refugees forced to flee Syria.
I don't have an issue with them, let's just say.
Here's some quotes.
Okay,
from Hezbollah leaders, including Nasrallah. Our struggle will end only when this entity of Israel is obliterated. We recognize no treaty with it, no ceasefire, and no peace agreement. According to Shal Shai, Nasrallah said in a speech delivered in Beirut, what do the Jews want? They want security and money. Throughout history, the Jews have been Allah's most cowardly and avaricious creatures. If you look all over the world, you will find no one more miserly and greedily than they are.
I don't have an issue with them.
If we search the entire world for a person more cowardly, despicable, weak, and feeble in psych, mind, and ideology and...
Ethan's not acting surprised, he's acting pissed off. Yes, I understand that, but that's not a good thing. You know, I've had my moments of probably inappropriate emotional responses, and I feel like everybody has. And the one thing I've learned is to try not to lean into them. Right? Try not to like, oh, I'm having that feeling. Maybe I should take a second and think to myself before responding. It's easier for me to say because I'm obviously not even close to as big as Ethan is. I'm bigger, weight-wise. But still, I feel like some of these fundamentals would probably be good for him. Honestly.
Religion. We would not find anyone like the Jew. Notice, I do not say the Israeli.
I don't have an issue with them.
Badi Kainban, in his 23 October 2002 article, quoted Nasrallah as saying, if Jews all gather in Israel, it will save us the trouble of going after them worldwide. The history of Jews has proven that, regardless of the Zionist proposal, they are a people who are evil in their ideas. The state of the grandsons of apes and pigs, the Zionist Jews, and he condemns them as the murderers of the prophet. According to Hasan Nasrallah, he said, the Jews invented the legend of the Nazi atrocities.
I don't have an issue with them, let's just say.
So my point is, if you're going to come down so hard on Eli...
Well, yeah, I wouldn't doubt that Hasan has no understanding of anything that he supports. All he does is say anti-West is good. Like, that's all Hasan is, realistically speaking.
For what she said, where's the energy when Hasan defends Hezbollah and Hasan Nasrallah, who is a violent, genocidal, anti-Semite, who mass murdered Syrians and committed terrorism all around the world? Where's all the 8-year subscribers flooding into his community saying they can't follow him in these footsteps anymore?
I can't believe I'm calling Nasrallah base. I mean, listen. You have to remember something, okay? A lot of these dudes, you see them in their fucking fits, and you hear about like some of their attitudes about like gay people, for example, and you immediately fucking resort to Orientalist perspectives, not realizing that
well, yeah, I mean, of course you should. You should look at other countries that don't have freedom for gay people and think less of them. This is how I feel. I think of anybody, not even other countries, anybody who thinks less of gay people, I think less of you. Whether you're a conservative in America or you're somebody in another country. That doesn't mean that I am better than you fundamentally as a person. It just means that I'm smarter than you because of where I've been in my life. Okay. Not taking that into account to me just seems stupid as fuck.
These motherfuckers are better read than you by a million.
Probably
okay?
not, but okay.
Like, it's not a broken clock situation. No, dude. Half of these dudes literally get educated in America and in the UK. What the fuck are you guys talking about?
My God,
this is why it's Orientalist to literally look at these dudes and go, oh no, they're fucking barbaric baboons. And like, sometimes
nobody has to say that they're barbaric baboons. We could just say like, hey, they are wrong about things. You know,
sometimes they get this shit right. No,
this is what I'm talking about though. This is an insane perspective, right? Like, we understand that. Like, this is him overly justifying. He's being too charitable to like terrorist organizations for sure. Like, we're terrorists in general. I mean, I agree with that. Is this something we didn't know already? I mean, at least his audience is giving him pushback over there.
Dude, he knows. It's crazy. He's read more books than you could ever imagine. And also, ultimately, he is regarded as a pretty brilliant a person in terms of like everything that he's done. You might not agree with his methods. You might not agree with his attitude overall in terms of like, in terms of his opinions on civil liberties and shit like that.
Those seem like everything. Those are like all the things, right? Like all civil liberty. All these are like all the things. It's like all the things that matter.
But ultimately, this motherfucker has read a shit ton of books.
Wow.
I don't have an issue with them. Let's just say.
Oh. I've read a shit ton of books too, baby. I haven't. Books are for cringe lords. Okay, yeah, man. Listen, I'm not going to say that Ethan doesn't have excellent points in his video. You know, I'm just saying I feel like maybe it's time to kind of move on. I don't think that the conversation is productive anymore. I think that a lot of people will brush Ethan off, and some of it does just seem like a fucking obsession at this point. Even when there are absolutely, I mean, Ethan is overall correct. I just don't think it's helping. It's certainly not helping to do the Ethan Klein, the Destiny memes. Probably not helping either. I don't think that that's changing anybody's mind, at least not in Hasan's community. But what do I know? What the fuck do I know? I'm just a fat fucking guy. So I'm not watching the podcast though. It's irrelevant, clearly based on what we just watched. So yeah, cool beans.